time, it wasn't setting any records. Certainly wasn't a top anything. No one knew who I was in the company other than my, immediate circle. And so it was just a few years ago where I really kind of said, hey, I was just telling Daniel, let me figure this out. I know what my goals are. I know what I want to do. I've heard this thing, you can be a top recruiter, you can build this big team. And if you got to build a team, it starts with recruiting people. And I just, said, I got to figure this out. And so I just kind of went, 10X all in, everything that I had, knowing that, just because you work really hard at something doesn't mean that you're going to have all this major success, just like this. A lot of times we think, oh, well, if I just go on a 90-day run today, things are going to be different a week from now. And that's not always the case, right? We all have things to overcome. And so it was a decision a few years back, April of 2015. I said, hey, I'm going to figure this thing out. And from that point, I think we're good now. From that point, I was able to go from, below average, let's say, not a top anything, to the very next year, number 4 in the entire company. You're on mute.
That's it. You made a decision and you said, okay, I'm not going to be average anything, but I'm sure a lot of people say I'm not going to be average anything. So what is the road like to becoming a top recruiter? What does that even look like, right? That's kind of, no pun intended, and I don't want to over glorify something, but that's like saying I'm the MVP of the NFL. I'm the top guy. I am it. Everybody uses me as a milestone or a marker in that particular year. So what does that really look like?
Well, I tell you, one thing is, we talk a lot about, inputs lead to out, right? It lead to results, right? So what are you doing for your business on the daily? A lot of times we talk about, I got this big goal, I got a year-end goal, I got a quarterly goal, and have all those things. But, you got to work backwards and go, well, what is the goal today? What is the goal tomorrow?
Right.
And so for us, right, that's exposing people to what we do, exposing people to the information.
Okay.
And, what I learned for me, this is just, I look at all my numbers. If I'm exposing 5 people a day, I don't know, let's say 6 days a week,
okay,
that's going to lead to, top recruiter status, at least top 10.
Okay. So in other words, all the books that we read in personal development, you got to find your number. Would you consider that your number, or is that one of those types of things like, hey, listen, if you kind of average this is a good marker to go off of? Is that what you consider? Well,
I think it's a start. I think start, you know what I mean? It's like this. It's you got to do 2 things. And this is just kind of my opinion here. So, whatever that is worth. But number 1, you have to go through lots of numbers. If you want to get better, if you're like, I'm not good at speaking, I'm not good at recruiting, I'm not good at selling, blah, 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 blah. You can't just go, let me go read a book and figure it out. You have to read a book. You got to learn from somebody, then come back and implement it and go, oh, it's like me trying to tell you how to ride a bike.
Right.
I can tell you, put your hands on the thing, put your feet on the pedal, you go real fast. But until you get on it and you're going, oh, I'm leaning too much right, I'm leaning too much left. That's something you got to figure out for yourself. So number 1, you have to do lots of numbers so you can figure out when you're leaning too much right, you're leaning too much left. Right. Okay. So that's that. But, we're talking about people. We're not talking about numbers. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go through a number of people, but people are all different. You know what I mean? Somebody could be a success in a former life. They bring that here. Somebody could, have no attributes that they bring in here, so to speak. And so it's like I akin it to fishing. If I say, hey, Jeff, we're going to go fishing for, I don't know, some big, I don't know, whales, let's say. I don't know what
the catch whales.
Yeah, let's go catch whales. But then you take me to a pond. We can go through all the numbers all day long. It ain't going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if we go to the ocean, what's going to happen? We're going to catch some small fish. We're going to catch some mid-sized fish. And if we're lucky enough and we stay long enough, we'll catch that whale.
So you got to be in the right environment.
You got to do both, right? You have to go through the numbers and you have to be in the right environment. And that goes back to, who are you, your influence, your network, the people that you're hanging around, the books that you're reading, right? We say you have to get better because let's face it, if you're trying to recruit Tom Brady,
right.
You know what I mean? We like to say things like, "Oh, a dud can recruit, what's the saying, right?
A dud can't talk to a stud. You got to talk to a stud, right?
Yeah, a dud can recruit a stud if you're using tools and events. And while that's true, like you got to do yourself a favor, right?
Right.
Like don't work against yourself. You got to skill up. You got to game up, and that was definitely the case for me.
So okay, so I could stay in this lane with you all day, right? Picking out the brain of someone who's mastered this. But let's switch lanes in the interest of time here, right? And so newly minted, president of the Young Pros, and as I understand, you're doing an awesome job. And so let's ask this. What would you say is initially would you say is the goal right now for you and the Young Pro movement? What is your goal in your tenure, do you believe?
Well, a couple things, right? A couple things. I'm not the youngest of the Young Pros. We'll just leave it at that, right? So,
really, I left a year ago.
Yeah. This used to be all red. That's from my daughters. That's what happened there. That's all that is. But it is really creating a launching pad for years to come. And the other thing is, Legal Shield's been around a long time.
Right.
Nearly 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., there's a lot of people that have been around a long time and they're not getting any younger. And, God bless them. They've really paved the way. They've laid the foundation, you know what I mean? But there has to be the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really to go and lower the average age of the company. How do you do that? You get a, I don't know how many associates there are, but let's say we double that with people under the age of 35.
Got you.
You know what I mean? That what that equates to is, when you're wanting to hang it up, slow down, go on vacation, that's your residual income. That's your passive income. Right. That's your business, that is growing while you're, I don't know, drinking Mai Tais on the beach in 10 years.
So let me ask you, what would you say are the keys to recruiting somebody in that age group? And it almost feels funny to me because I was in that age group and I don't know that anything special was done now, but I don't know that there was as wide a gap in technological differences when I was getting started. So what would you say is the keys to getting somebody interested in that age group? Or does it vary too much? You let me know.
Well, I mean, a few things. I mean, it's nothing different per se. Okay. When we're recruiting people, think of recruiting. A lot of times I think people, they think of recruiting like it's a sale. It's not a sale. If I'm making a sale to you, I show you the features and the benefits and you make a decision.
Okay.
Maybe you have a couple questions, right? You're like, great product, I can get it. But when we're recruiting somebody, think if you were to go to work at Google, let's say I'm a recruiter for Google. The number one recruiter for Google actually uses a 3-minute, what we would call sizzle video, to send to his applicants to show like the mission of what Google's about. We all know what Google is.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't know that. So he might send you a 3-minute sizzle video and it's like got all this cool stuff that Google's about. Right. And then what's next? Well, maybe he gets on the phone and you and him have a conversation about what you're about.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Talk about the position. What's next? Maybe he sets up a virtual meeting with a couple of the partners, the hiring partners. Mm-hmm. Okay. Next, you're like, sounds pretty good. Let me talk it to the wife. And then they set up, a fly-in for you to tour the facilities to see where you're at. And he takes you over here to, meet one of the partners. Then he takes you over here to see your supervisor. And then he takes you over here to see the apartment lead. And you get an experience of what that would look like for you to work there. That would be pretty logical, right?
Right.
And so when you really want to become a master recruiter in what we do, it's very much the same way. A lot of people go, "Oh, I shared the video with you. You got it or you didn't get it." But it's more than that. It's more than that, right? What we're really asking somebody is, Jeffrey, will you be my business partner and we're going to work together every day until something changes.
That's
I mean,
powerful.
that's a big ask. And
That's
so
a
with
powerful.
that,
Yep.
it's more than just a logical makes sense to me. There's an emotional connection. You know, what do I want to do this? Can I figure out how to do this with the time that I have? Do I even want to be around these people?
Right.
And
Right.
now that's a whole nother thing. It's like if I'm a woman and all I see is men, I'm
Hmm.
like, looks good. I could probably do it, but I don't know if this is the place for me. You know what I mean? If
So
all
so
I, yeah,
so really, what you're doing is, when you're recruiting, you're helping somebody find a home,
right.
and they've got to be comfortable, and that's a big deal. Um, and I only have a few minutes left here because we had some difficulties here. But I want to ask this. I want to try to figure out if I can get two questions in here. The first thing is, there's a lot of individuals out there that are not in, a young pro age. Is there such thing as a no-fly zone for people that are outside of the young pros, right? So, I mean, can you delve into it? Can you learn from
Yeah,
those
yeah,
people?
absolutely. Let's take ladies of justice for say. We have a kind of a division of what we do for the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a man, I can show up. I can be on their Facebook page. I can be like, go, 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 go. But if I'm like, hey, 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 let me tell you how to do something, they're like, get out of here, man. Come on. Right? Young pros, it's the same way, right? You can be on our chat. You can come check things out. You can be like, the Wilson from Home Improvement, look
That's
over
right.
the fence.
You
Just
did not
keep your
say Wilson.
opinions to yourself.
All right, Home Improvement. Okay. All right. So last question for today. Last question for the game. I just really appreciate you, Josh. Always love talking to you, man. Is this, man? What's next for Josh Lockhart? What will we see on the books for Josh Lockhart in the next year from now? What is it going to look like for Josh Lockhart?
On a fun note, right? So and no one's. I know it's just me and you talking. No one's going to
It's
see
just
this
me. It's
anyway.
nobody else.
That's right. So I'm, the MVP of Georgia. The senior network vice president for the young pros. I might just do it all, right? Might change my name, do the LOJ thing. I'm going to learn some Spanish. I'll do that. I mean, who knows, right? No, really though, it's I really feel like my Legal Shield business is a mountain that I'm climbing.
Okay.
And maybe I've gotten to a couple of peaks, but
Okay.
I feel like there's something really big to be conquered here, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to get off the mountain until I see over the top, right? Until I see what's really up there and get the view from up there. I feel like there's this thing inside me where if you can do more, you must do more.
Yeah.
And so I know there's a long way to go here. There's, way more sights to see, and I plan to see every single one of them.
Man, Josh Lockhart, I'm so excited to be part of this next class of Legal Shield leaders with you. And I look forward to having a continuous, exciting journey as we go to some more peaks, if you will. I've had a great time. Would you like to close us with any thoughts before we go back to Mr. Gonzalez?
No, I mean, I suppose. I mean, I'll just say to everybody, you did send me a couple questions. I appreciate that, by the way. But wherever you're at, a lot of times we get all in our head about, I can do this, I can't do that, I don't have this, I don't feel like it, I don't know if I have the motivation. Like, none of that matters. If you have a reason, a purpose, and a why of where you're trying to get to, right? Just show up. Just show up and keep doing it no matter what. If you don't feel like it, doesn't matter. Just start doing something.
Yep.
I didn't feel like doing anything today. I just picked up the phone and started making phone calls. And you know what? After about the 10th phone call, then I felt like it.
Yeah.
So show up and do the dang thing.
I hear you. Show up and do the dang thing. That's what we're going to do today. That's our word of the week. That's our motto of the week. Back to you, Mr. Gonzalez.
That was awesome. I appreciate you, gentlemen, both. I know we had a little bit of an echo going on, but like I said, hey, I put it out to the world and it resolved itself, right? Didn't I say that? Let's just roll with it and it'll go away. It did. God's good. So, hey, I appreciate you both. Mr. Lockhart, thank you so much for carving some time out of your day, out of your life to spend with us, dropping some great nuggets and sharing some amazing information with us. Also sharing the mission of Young Pros. It's just such a great channel, powerful movement. And I'm so happy and inspired by the fact that you're taking the charge in that arena, because I don't think there's anyone better to do it than you, my friend. So
I appreciate that.
Congratulations and thanks for your time, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lewis, thank you for hopping on. Appreciate you.
As always, sir.
Right. All right, folks. So, you heard from Mr. Lockhart himself, and you heard from Mr. Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. It's just been a incredible interview. But look, we got some more information coming at you. We just launched a brand new YouTube channel for the state of Florida. So you can catch this streaming live every Monday, and if you miss it, you can go right back and catch it on a recording. And guess what? All of our big events are recorded on there, big trainings from some of your top leaders, top presenters and trainers, all in one place. So please go FloridaLSEvents.com. You can get there. It's actually, you might have click that to get here today. Just make sure you subscribe. Click on subscribe at the bottom, folks. Make sure that you stay up to date and abreast to everything that's going on with Legal Shield. You don't want to miss a thing. And this is how we stay close in these digital times that we're in. So stay close to the fire, right? So make sure you're tapping into that again. That's FloridaLSEvents.com. If you're not there on YouTube now, you could definitely go there now, www.FloridaLSEvents.com. Make sure that you subscribe to that right now. So, folks, I got a big message for you from my workout partner, my better half, Miss Rebecca Gonzalez, is going to deliver a message to you folks about Ladies of Justice.
Good evening, Florida. This is Rebecca Gonzalez here. I am Daniel Gonzalez's wife. I am here to share with you some upcoming Ladies of Justice news. On this Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time, the one and only Ms. Elizabeth Gardner is going to be doing a Purple Table Talk training on how we can effectively implement time blocking. Listen, I am a mom. We've got 4 kiddos. I actually homeschool, help Daniel with the business. Women, we do all these things, right? So why would we pass up opportunity to learn how to manage our time a little bit better? So Thursday, 3 p.m. At the Ladies of Justice Zoom, which is ladiesofjusticezoom.com. That's where it'll take place. 3 p.m. Thursday. Tell your team, get them plugged in, really be part of this Ladies of Justice culture. It's uplifting, it's empowering, it's encouraging, and hopefully by the end of it, we're going to have a better idea how to manage our time. So I hope y'all are enjoying the show. I hope you have a blessed evening, and I will see you Thursday. Have a great night.
So you can definitely see how she is my better half, ladies and gents, and she keeps me going. So there we go. So we also got a massive, massive event coming up real soon, folks. We have a leadership convention that's going to be live stream. Not too long ago, when we want to catch this caliber of information, we'd have to hop on an airplane, fly across several states, get a hotel room. That could be, a little bit expensive. But look, now there's no excuse. You need to get this information. If you want to grow as a leader here in Legal Shield, you need to copy the right cat. You need to get the information from the people that have walked the walk. So why would you sell yourself short and not participate in this event? Because you could catch it in your living room. I mean, you could grow, not vertically, because I'd be all over that, right? The story's over for me to grow vertically, but mentally, right? As a leader, you could grow by tapping into the information that we're going to let out during this international leadership live stream convention, October 9th and 10th. Make sure you get registered today for that. Ladies and gentlemen, don't miss out. Also, make sure in Florida, folks, especially if you're tuning in Florida, we got some incredible leaders here. We got 4 regional directors that put on weekly trainings to keep you attuned to what's happening in your marketplace with your fellow leaders in that marketplace, folks, fellow associates. So go ahead, make sure that you're participating in those. If you haven't been receiving emails about that, make sure you go to the calendar, check it out, or just call them. Call or email your regional director, say, hey, how can I get involved in that weekly regional training? And of course, we'll be back every single Monday night, 6:30 to 7 p.m. Eastern time to deliver this same message. We're going to give you some state statistics, some encouraging words, let you keep you up to date to all the promotions that are happening. But we're also going to deliver that amazing segment, Interview with Success, a dynamic way for you to pull information from some of our top producers and top recruiters here in Legal Shield. So, folks, we got a statewide call party we're doing this Friday from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at FloridaLSZoom.com. Again, that's a statewide call party. So if you're shy, you don't know how to invite individuals to take a look, we're going to do it together. So make sure you tapping into that. And of course, I just want to say, folks, we'll be here next week for you. Make sure you tune in. either through Facebook or YouTube. Remember, if you want to dial in on YouTube, that's FloridaLSEvents.com. We'll see you next week.